Hi everyone, welcome back to my garage. And today we have an unboxing and a test video on a foam cannon. Now, MJJC has sent me their foam cannon S version 3 for me to try out. And we're going to actually unbox it and then take a look and compare it to the one that I've been using the most the last few years, the Chemical Guys Big Mouth foam cannon, is what it is. And in a future video, we'll also do another comparison of some soaps. Now you have in today's marketplace, you have several choices out there ranging in price. You can go from, the Amazon style foam cannons, which if you're on a budget are pretty decent if you have the right pressure washer. We're not going to do a comparison with this today. I'll put a link below to a video we've already done comparing this to the Big Mouth by Chemical Guys. So I'm going to set that off to the side. Now, I haven't actually unpacked this. I figured we'd do that together. And I'm going to give you my unbiased opinion of what I think of this MJJC. Now, this is not a sponsored video, and I didn't pay for the cannon. They sent it to me to give it a try and see what I think. So I thought I'd bring you along for the ride so that you'll be able to see that. So we'll look at it first, do some comparisons with the Big Mouth, and then we're going to go outside and actually look at it and see its performance. So when we unbox it, let's take a look. I mean, the packaging is pretty good. You get some operating instructions in here, and as soon as you unpack it, and I mean, it's packed in nicely. As soon as you unpack it, first thing I notice is the clear bottle. Now, I do like that at first glance because it's clear. I can see how much I have inside. On the back here, and I'll bring this up closer to the camera in a minute, on the back are actual markings from 100 milliliters up to 1 liter. And something that I'm noticing and I had read about on the bottle, which I'll point out in a minute. They have their foam cannon mouth right here, and when I look at it, what I like so far that I can tell is that we can not only adjust the nozzle, but we can go from shooting a horizontal pattern or a vertical pattern depending what you're washing on the car. So that's that's nice and neat, because the Big Mouth by Chemical Guys has that same functionality where you can twist it to shoot vertically or horizontally. And depending on what vehicle I'm doing and what part of the vehicle I'm cleaning, that can sometimes be very handy. Now, something else that I noticed, which I like, right here, and I mean, everybody's pretty much doing it, but in this little bag, you get a couple of extra O-rings, and then we have our attachment. I'm going to put the O-rings back in there so I don't lose them. When you first glance at the top of the foam cannon, you'll see your threads here, but they do actually give you the connection, so you can take it, simply thread it on, and there you go. So you're ready to go. Inside, you're going to get, sorry, I'm going to do that the high-tech way. I hope you guys are getting a giggle out of that. I didn't think that it would be completely sealed in the way it is. But inside, what we also get is our draw tube, which is silicone, which is very nice. But you also do get a smaller nozzle, and this is a 1.1 millimeter nozzle. What's important about that, and you're gonna forgive me, I have forgotten the the normal size. I believe the normal size is 1.5 millimeters. What's important about this 1.1 is that if you have a pressure washer that doesn't have as high of a flow rate as our Simonize or the Action pressure washer, and you're below that kind of 1.8, 2 gallon per minute flow rate, a lot of snow foam cannons will not generate enough suds. They'll generate suds, but they'll be very liquidy. So you can swap out to the 1.1, and that way your lower flow rate pressure washer can be used with the MJJC, where normally most foam cannons you'd have to go buy this. Now what I also like about the tubing here is that they have this little metal ball that is open on the bottom connected to the tube that will keep this down in the actual bottle. So let's do this. Let's put this on, and then we're going to actually attach this, and because it's a clear bottle, you'll be able to see this, and then we'll take a quick look. I'll bring it up closer and we'll take a quick look. Now the other thing I noticed about this bottle is it doesn't have a traditional thread. So it's a little bit quicker to get onto your bottle and a little bit easier to take off. And the reason I say that is, let's take our big mouth, and you'll notice when I want to remove this, I've got to spin it multiple times. Now the big mouth cannon has a I'm going to call it a semi-transparent jug. You can see your level inside, but it's a little hidden away a bit, but you'll be able to see it. It also has the markings on the side, little harder to read because of the white material versus the clear. The silicone tube, little bit thicker silicone tube on the chemical guys. And it came with just one of the actual nozzles inside. But it does have the ability to fan, to get larger spreads more concentrated, and you can rotate it from vertical to horizontal. So let's do this. I'm going to bring this up closer to the camera so you can see a couple of these things. When I say, you'll see here how you can widen out your spread to be more concentrated or thinner, which then spreads the pattern out. But you can also rotate to go to horizontal. Now the difference I'm noticing is on the MJJC, if you notice, I can keep going around and around and around from vertical to horizontal, where the chemical guys has a set position. So if we rotate it, it then stops. And then we have to rotate it back to go to vertical, and those are the two spots. Big issue? Not really, I don't think, but we'll see when we use it. Also, the top of the jug, it's nice and snug, as I mentioned, right? We've got a different style of connector, very quick and easy that it goes on. And then, as I mentioned, our silicone tube, and just so you can get a good look at it, our little metal ball that will help keep that tube sitting at the bottom, regardless of how you might be twisting it. Haven't had an issue with the chemical guys. This is my go-to foam cannon for the last couple of years, so not a big issue. I'm going to step back here now. So we're going to give that a try, but to be fair, what we're going to do today is we're going to use these two foam cannons, do a comparison for you in a couple of minutes. We are going to use the Chemical Guys Honeydew Snow Foam. Very good foam. I've been, as you can see, been using it for a number of years. And what we'll do in a future video is we'll do a comparison with the MJJC snow foam. They were kind enough to send some of that as well. So that'll be for a future video. We do have another video comparing the Honeydew to a turtle wax product. I'll put a link below. And to be fair, rather than mix each of these bottles individually, what I have done according to Chemical Guy's instructions is pre-mixed in one bottle. Now, Chemical Guy states to mix 1 to 2 ounces to get the best foam in their foam cannon, which is a 1 liter bottle, just like the MJJC. So what I've done to be fair, so that you, the viewer, doesn't have to worry, we're both mixed exactly the same, is it a different dilution? I mixed one batch using this bottle, and what we have here is I've marked the 1 liter mark and the 500 milliliter mark. Now for our American friends, a liter, a gallon is 3.78 liters. So follow, I'm going based on the instructions here in what they're stating. As an example, if you were doing this in a bucket, they say to put 1 to 2 liters in 5 gallons. So we've just mixed a small amount. We're going to put half into the Chemical Guys and half into the MJJC. It's been mixed with warm water. I'm going to agitate a little bit before I put this in off camera, and then that way we have very specific results we're going to be able to see with not specific results. We have very specific amount of soap and water done properly to the actual cannons. Now, I did also measure the 2 ounces of soap using a measuring cup, and then use that measuring cup to fill water and pour it in here. What I basically did was fill 500 milliliters, half a liter, into the jug of water, poured our soap in. The next 500 milliliters was then rinsed from the measuring cup so that any of that residue soap would actually make its way into the bottle rather than being left. So we did get our true 2 ounces in here. And that way we're going to keep our results as refined, our pre-setup as refined as possible to get the best results. I'm jumping ahead of what I'm thinking. So at this point, going to stop the camera. We'll get it set up outside, and we're going to show you a live test on one of our vehicles. Okay, so we've moved outside. We are going to use this 2019 Terrain. This is my wife's vehicle. We've had a little bit of rain a few days ago, so it's dirty enough, and we're going to use it as the test vehicle. Now you're going to notice I have here the MJJC foam cannon. So I'll bring it up close. As I mentioned, you can see the levels really nicely. It's nice and clear. You can see your soap. So what I'm going to do is show you that you can take a look here. We have the exact same amount of soap. Now this is in our Chemical Guys. So as I mentioned, it's a semi-transparent. You can see with the green of the Honeydew snow foam, you can actually see the level pretty decently, right? So not a big concern. We'll try both of these. They're both at just over the 500 milliliter mark, warm water. So we have exactly the same amount of soap in here to give it a try. We're going to use our Simonize 1800 PSI pressure washer, which is actually the Action VE52 pressure washer for our American cousins, and let's take a look and see which looks best. As a quick reminder, this Simonize or the Action has 1.8 to 2 gallons per minute flow rate, and it's 1800 psi maximum, but when you're washing a car, based on the nozzles, the foam cannons, you're going to get around 1000 to 1200 psi. Just as a little reminder. So let's put one of them down. We are going to grab our nozzle. We're using a 50-foot Uberflex hose with our actual regular nozzle. We'll just get some air out of that. And now we can turn our equipment on. Now, in a previous video, I had mentioned about fittings, etc. This is really important. We're not going to pre-soak the car. Okay, so what we're going to do is shoot the back half with the MJJC, and then we will do the front with the snow foam, the big mouth snow foam cannon from Chemical Guys. Okay, initial impressions, really great foam. I mean, you can see I've oversprayed here, so it's running a bit, but up in this area, it is super, super thick, like a shaving cream, really sticking to the car, which is what you want. Let's switch over to the big mouth here. And same thing, we have this turned up, set to shoot vertically, and let's take a look at what it looks like. Very similar foam, and actually let's take the camera and bring you up a little bit closer. Okay, so you'll notice here, a little hard to shoot, but we'll try to get you the idea of how thick it just seems to be holding on. It does run. The foam is going to do that as it's breaking down and lifting. Here's the snow foam cannon from Chemical Guys, the big mouth. Now, I will tell you, on my initial look at this, it's not quite as thick first when it comes out of the gun. It is a very thick lather. They've been known for that. I'm going to put the camera back down. Chemical Guys has been known for that. However, when it first went on, I don't know if you could actually tell. Okay, so I don't know if you noticed when we first sprayed it, the MJJC seemed to have a little bit thicker foam that clinged, where the big mouth cannon seemed to actually, it was thick, but it ran a little bit more. It wasn't quite clinging. Now, after a few minutes, if you looked at this foam right now, you actually couldn't really tell. After its initial clinginess, it's running at about the same rate at this point. So the first few minutes, the MJJC seems to put more foam down, a little bit thicker, which I have to say I'm really impressed with. And I've been a big advocate of the big mouth by Chemical Guys. Puts it down nice and thick, takes a little bit to start breaking down, and then it starts to run. And basically what it's doing at this point is, as it's breaking down, it's also lifting up dirt, etc. from the vehicle. At this stage, they're almost identical now with the way the foam is clinging and running, but the first few minutes, I have to give it to the MJJC. It might become my go-to camera based on this, from what I'm seeing. And overall, you know, if we look at the lower panels here, it's run at about the same rate. Up here is very similar. We still have a little bit more foam up here that hasn't quite broken down on the glass compared to the big mouth. Overall, both are great snow foam cannons. They're going to cost around the same money. Chemical Guys these days in Canadian dollars, I believe, is up in that, and I'll post links to Amazon. I believe the Chemical Guys is somewhere in that 105 to 125 range. The MJJC is about 120 to 140 depending where you purchase it. So they're right in that competitive price point. That's Canadian dollars. Our American friends, I'll post a link on Amazon.com for you guys. It's going to be a very similar comparison point, whether you order from Chemical Guys or Amazon or get it from one of their dealers. MJJC, you have a couple options. You can buy it on Amazon, you can buy it directly from MJJC, or you can buy it from a variety of sources. In my opinion, I think the MJJC has just outperformed the Chemical Guys big mouth cannon. That's using the same interior components from a nozzle aspect. I believe it's a 1.5 millimeter, a very similar idea, and I think overall you couldn't go wrong with either of them, but I'm going to hand this win to the MJJC. Let me know your comments below of what you think, which one you like. If you have some experience with both, let me and our viewers know. We'd love to hear the feedback. If you're interested in seeing some other videos, let me know. We are going to bring a building or converting of a cart for a pressure washer cart to you shortly, and then we'll also bring you the MJJC snow foam cannon soap review compared to the Chemical Guys, and we'll test out their soap in a future video. Anyways, if you like the video, please click the like button, hit the subscribe below. If you also hit the bell notification, you'll be notified of new videos as they become available. Let us know your comments and your feedback, as I mentioned, and make sure you live life to the fullest. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back at the channel soon.